A visibly confused Donald Trump just wrapped up a summit with global leaders in Egypt, celebrating the ceasefire that his administration brokered between Israel and Hamas. Not only was Trump visibly confused, but he also celebrated the egregious illiberalism of Viktor Orban and seemed to alienate and alarm some of the global leaders standing behind him. And we have to talk about this. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we have several clips to play. We're going to start with this one, and I want you to focus on the Italian Prime Minister Meloni, who is standing behind Trump's right shoulder. She's the shorter blonde woman. Just while you're listening to him, stay focused on her.
Everybody's going to join the Abraham Accord. I like to say the Avraham. I love Avraham. But somehow it doesn't sound as good when I say it as it does when some of my other friends say it who are from the region. But we're going to get a lot of people joining the Abraham Accords. We have the four great nations that did it early on, and they stayed with it. And then you had the Biden administration, which is the worst administration in the history of our country. And obviously, they did nothing on that and anything else. And so it stayed at four. And now a lot of people, even today, they're talking about all joining up. So many people have talked to me about that, and it's going to be a great.
So Keir Starmer looks like he'd rather be anywhere else, and Meloni, again, who's a far right politician, she's the leader of Italy. She's like she has her hand over her mouth. She is just stunned by this insane speech by Trump, who should be celebrating. Again, you would think I expect Trump to like exaggerate and really hype up this accomplishment. Again, the exchange of the hostages or the release of the hostages, the 20 remaining. President Biden got about 135, 140 hostages released during his administration. Donald Trump just got the 20 remaining living hostages released. Again, the ceasefire in Gaza is that the Israeli military is no longer engaging in genocide. There is something to celebrate here between these things, the hostage release and the at least temporary and hopefully permanent end of the genocide. But instead, he has to ramble about his political opponents, such that Keir Starmer, the British Prime Minister, and Meloni, the Italian Prime Minister, are just like, what the hell are you doing, man? But there's more.
It was quite an escort in. It was very impressive. But Air Force One was really, it was covered with Egyptian desert just a few months ago. If you think about it, just a few months ago, it was Egyptian desert, and now it was just a few feet off our window. And it was a spectacular sight, and I appreciate it very much. Really, that was pretty good. You got our people by surprise. I don't know if they were thrilled right at the beginning, but they were thrilled as we sailed along very, very calmly and safely. And I'm deeply honored.
Just like, bro, what the hell are you talking? Like, it was covered with Egyptian desert. Now it's just he's so funny. It's like, there's the desert. Now it's a few feet from our window. The desert's here. Now it's like, dude, what are you talking about? I don't know. It's embarrassing. He's so embarrassing to the United States, even at this moment, what should be a moment of diplomatic triumph. He can't help but just instinctively diminish it in some respects. Here's another clip.
I would say that Pakistan had nominated President Donald Trump for Nobel Peace Prize for his outstanding, extraordinary contributions to first stop war between India and Pakistan, and then achieve ceasefire along with his very wonderful team. And today, again, I would like to nominate this great president for Nobel Peace Prize.
So that is the Pakistani prime minister. And again, there's some dispute over what role Trump played in brokering some sort of peace between India and Pakistan, two nuclear-armed nations that went into armed conflict just a couple of months ago. It happened on Trump's watch. Pakistan and Trump say, hell yeah, I did it. India said, no, Trump had nothing to do with it. We brokered this behind the scenes. So not sure who to believe in this instance, although my default is not to give Trump the benefit of the doubt, given that he has no reason to be given the benefit of the doubt. And listen, as I've said before, I'll say it again. the Nobel Peace Prize, it makes sense that they're nominating him for this, particularly if it holds. Now, will he win it in 2026 for what happened here in 2025? That remains to be seen, but I wouldn't rule it out. But again, it just goes back to how they're appealing to Trump's vanity. They know he wants, that he is actively campaigning for a Nobel Peace Prize, which is something you typically don't see from Nobel laureates. Here's another clip.
So you have Armenia and you have Bahrain, you have Canada. It's so great to have, in fact, the president called and he wanted to know if it's worthwhile. He knew exactly what it was. He knew the importance.
I don't know if you see Maloney's eye behind the scene because she's partially hidden, but she's looking around. You can see Keir Starmer. Canada doesn't have a president. It has a prime minister. Mark Carney is the prime minister. And note that because Trump, again, gets the titles confused. It comes back at the end in a subsequent clip, but we'll continue.
Where's Canada, by the way? Where are you? Where are you? He knew the importance of this. He said, I want to be there. So many people have done that. They called. I mean, they heard about it. And these are not people that can do that very easily. They have pretty big schedules, to put it mildly. The most powerful people. And I appreciate you being here very much, Mr. President. Fantastic.
He's not a president. He's a prime minister. People try not to laugh or correct him. But again, it comes in at the end. Then, of course, Trump has to praise Viktor Orban, the leader of Hungary, one of the most illiberal heads of state, heads of government in the world, and somebody who I believe at least once, if not twice, has spoken as like the guest of honor at CPAC, which is the biggest conservative conference. It's basically the Republican retreat, and it's incredibly ominous and disturbing that this authoritarian, illiberal leader is seen as a kind of an inspiration to the Republican Party, including Donald Trump. And listen to what he says. It's really chilling.
We have Hungary. Oh, Victor. Where is Victor? Victor. We love Victor. Victor, I call him. You know, I put the little accent on it. You are fantastic, all right? I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but I'm the only one that matters. You are fantastic. He's a great leader. I endorsed him the last election he had, and he won by 28 points. So you're going to do even better this time. If you have another election, and you're going to do great. And
Viktor Orban, nobody expects Viktor Orban to not do well in his elections because he has one of the most illiberal election systems in the world. I don't know if Trump just forgot about it. I mean, Trump said something like that, or it may have been Erdogan of Turkey, who was very similar in terms of his illiberalism. But they said something like that. Trump said something like that to either Orban or Turkey or Erdogan just a couple of months ago in the Oval Office, basically just making tongue-in-cheek references to how illiberal and undemocratic their elections are. And so when Trump says shit like that, it's just like, dude, he's signaling what he wants to turn the United States into. Here's another clip.
Very much. Italy, we have a young woman who's, I'm not allowed to say it because usually it's the end of your political career if you say it. She's a beautiful young woman. Now, if you use the word beautiful in the United States about a woman, that's the end of your political career, but I'll take my chances. Where is she? There she is. You don't mind being called beautiful, right? Because you are. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate it. She wanted to be here, and she's incredible, and they really respect her in Italy. She's
pretty far-right politician, but you can just see she's not impressed by Trump calling her beautiful, even though, again, you have to play you have to play that particular thing up. I will say, let me find this one clip here. This is Trump getting corrected by Mark Carney at the end of the press conference. I thought I had it pulled up here, but I didn't. Okay. So remember, Mark Carney, the Canadian Prime Minister, Trump called him president. He's not. And this is Mark Carney on a hot mic going up and, gently ribbing Trump and on the hot mic here about, you got the title wrong.
Thanks. So you going back?
I'll go back. I'm glad you upgraded me to president.
Oh, did I say?
Great stuff. It's good. I started.
At least I didn't say that.
He's like, I'm glad you upgraded me to president. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I got that wrong. Obviously, if Biden had done that, can you imagine the media scandal that would have ensued? So listen, Donald Trump has a bad habit, even at his moments of peak performance, to the extent that he has any, at the moments of his triumph, right? To alienate people just with his terrible personality. So here he is, telling other world leaders, other people don't like this, but I'm the only one who matters, calling people beautiful who probably don't want to be called beautiful, just ranting and raving about himself, celebrating and seemingly endorsing the illiberalism of Hungary's election system. And you just see it on their faces. They're trying not to piss Trump off, but they can't help it. Sometimes he says something so appalling and so stupid that they have to cover their mouths or they have to look away in just pure abject fright. Don't give it away. Don't give it away. That's Trump for you, and we've got another 3 years left. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.